Bruh, I'm hella sick. Well, let's just do this.
Yeah, y'all.
Escape from New York dropped on May 24th, 2019, and I haven't stopped listening to it since. I have one lingering question about Beast Coast that I want to discuss before I get into the review. I'm wondering why there aren't more Pro Era members in Beast Coast, and specifically why CJ, Nick, Kirk, Joey, and Pal P on production were the members placed in the collective for this project. I understand that Pro Era has like 15 people in it, so having all members on the album would overcrowd the songs. It would be too much. Also, they're coming out with their own album later this year, and I'm sure they'll all get plenty of time to do their thing. I'm just curious as to why, say, Aaron Rose or Jenny Sanchez or Desi Hines weren't included on this album. Aside from industry red tape or just using the artists that are the most well known within the group because of the success of their respective solo projects, I don't have any theories as to why they're the only ones included. Now, let's get into the review. The promotion leading up to this album was great. First, the use of LSD 25 gave fans something fun to watch and look forward to in anticipation of the album. The Big Ticker Basement Cypher was a good way to introduce some nostalgia into the mix and to show off lyricism and skill. And finally, each artist had their own slow motion video that incorporated clips from the songs. They posted these on Instagram with a sort of vulnerable caption that gave more information about the making of the song and, in some cases, the video itself. The promotion made fans feel like they were part of the creation. I'm really a fan of all of the voice work on this album. Voices and vocal manipulation are both so important in rap. On the album, so many of the artists both sing and rap. Part of the beauty of using LSD 25 as a form of promotion is that people who are just now stumbling on Beast Coast hear one thing on the show and something totally different on the album. The way I just described it makes it sound like it's a shortcoming, but it's not. The reason that it's a good thing is because of the importance that voices have in rap and hip hop. Imagine if Dr. Dre or Snoop Dogg or Biggie didn't have these easily identifiable and strong voices. Part of what makes Kendrick Lamar so great, aside from the obvious, is all the ways that he manipulates his voice. With that being said, listen to the differences in the way that Nick Caution sounds on Puke versus Coast Clear, and Joey on Distance versus Left Hand. A first time listener would probably think they're listening to completely different people. I'm really glad that they didn't try to cram every member on each track, which I didn't think they would do. However, I do think that some members sort of got lost on the album, particularly CJ Fly, Zombie Juice, and Powers Pleasant. I know Pal P is a producer and he isn't like Kirk Knight and Eric who rap and produce, but I didn't hear a tag or anything like that aside from the beginning of Close Clear. I will say that the combination of members and vocal manipulation makes it difficult to decipher who is speaking when at some points, but I don't think knowing who's who is as important as making sure that each track is fun to listen to. So I think that that's a very small shortcoming in my opinion. Now I want to talk specifically about two tracks that I really liked for a second. First, I love Puke, or I love the track Puke. I love track number 9, which is called Puke. Great.
Nailed it.
There's a certain air of vulnerability on this track that I really like. It's very different from the other bass-filled tracks on the album. I like the lyrics and everything, but the reason that I like this track the most is because of the way it makes me feel, which, music should make you feel good. The second track I want to discuss is Far Away. It's clearly supposed to be a song for the ladies. I really like it, not necessarily because it's for the ladies. I like the hook and the beat. The production has an early 2000s vibe to it. It also provides a sort of break within the album because of the change in subject matter. I thought that this album would have some political mentions just because of the previous work of Lavish Zombies and Joey and other people in the collective, but I didn't notice any. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, just something I noticed. I'm happy that Pal P didn't produce the entire album. Eric also did quite a bit of it, which I like just because it really shows that it was a group album. I was hoping that Kirk would also produce a couple of tracks, but I don't think that happened. But that's alright. The album is so fun to listen to, which I think should always be the primary goal of a rap album, especially one like this that seems like it was so fun to put together. So what is Escape from New York?
What exactly is Beast Coast escaping from? They live in New York. Just leave.
Girl, I don't know. It is the name of a movie with Kurt Russell and other famous white folks, but I don't think it has anything to do with the album, but I honestly can't say with much certainty because I haven't seen the movie. Like I said, my original review, which you can find on my website, it seems to be about gaining national recognition outside of New York and their neighborhoods. It may also be about recognizing other parts of their ancestry. Many of Beast Coast is of Caribbean descent, which we see acknowledged on the album and by CJ in the cipher. But outside of that, I'm not really sure. I don't know if it was something that was meant to be interpreted, honestly. But I will continue to listen to this album for days and weeks and months to come because it's just that good of a listen. You can find all video, music, lyric, image, and other sources in the description box.